Hello, guys. Very good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for joining this session. It's going to be like very interactive session. So, where you'll be getting most value-added information about the SAP platform. So, as you might hear the word SAP a bunch of times, and people may say like it's been in the cloud industry for a while, and what are the benefits that you're going to get out of it? It's one of a challenging factor. Many organizations are moving towards SAP, and there are like multiple competitors like Workday and other platforms which is currently booming up. But still, SAP has been almost like for decades now, and they're constantly thriving with more functionalities. They are coming up with more, building up their platform and also coming up with new features that could solve many business-related problems and bringing up more solutions for day-to-day needs. So that's one of the major accomplishment SAP is doing on day-to-day basis as an enhancement, and each and every quarter they also planning up and they're releasing more and more enhancements and products. So that makes SAP as one of the leading HCM provider. So when I say HCM, it's going to be like a human capital management, and which has been rebranded, or I could say it's not rebranded, where they have just branded it themselves as a human experience management. You know that it might be a little bit big in the word, like what's human capital management and what's human experience management. So human capital management, it's a platform, or it's going to be like a bundle where it sorts all the human capital related challenges that we have been facing up. Let's say when I say human capital, that's going to be like including with managing your, okay, from day one in an organization, what are the stuff that's been needed for organization from a human capital side, like hiring a candidate and helping them to onboard successfully, in parallel helping them to upskill and then going for their performance review. There are multiple stages or phases that will be going through a talent management. So that's the reason they call like a human HCM, like human capital management. And to make the world, I think the world has been driving more of digitalization and aspects, right? Nowadays, we have been focusing on human experience management, which is going to be called as an HXM. So that's going the latest upgrade. And if you say HCM, then the people might be thinking you're pretty outdated or it's a little bit older term. So now all the technology, all the organizations have started using the word as an HXM, and I recommend you to start using those words moving forward. Oops. Fantastic. Sorry for the interim break. So I was talking about the human experience management. So that's one of the potential platform which has been used at this moment across the industry. And many organizations and competitors, when you ask for competitors in the market, I could say Workday has been doing really a fantastic job because they have a simplified UI when compared to SAP. And there are other vendors as well, like Cornerstone, who is coming up with a human capital management. Now, each and every organizations are looking for a complete set of suite where they can solve all their business related challenge, because right now, nowadays there are more integrations that's been happening with multiple platforms or multiple systems, so where each and every system has to talk with one another to make the data flow seamlessly. So that's the reason now organizations are, rather than going or picking like one from SAP and one from Workday and one from Cornerstone or one from Saba. So it's pretty bit complicated for them to make this integration components work seamlessly, as now many organizations started bidding up with a one single vendor, like say let's pick up SAP, and they have been choosing as their core HR platform with SAP, which includes from employee database management to performance and learning and goal settings and all that. So that makes SAP as again a thriving leader in the market. So that has put us in a really good shape with respect to the HXM as a talent management. I hope like that gives you a good understanding or a first level overview of what is an HXM talent management. And then let me move on to the next slide where I just want to talk a couple of things. So Okay, now HR is going to be, you told me about HR talent management and all that. Now let's take a look how the HR has been tied with the business execution. So many people, almost like 95% of the workforce, do not understand what is a strategy. Say like you're joining an organization today and you never know what are their goals and what are their strategy, because all the people just go with the JD, like the job description, where I used to say like JD, job description, and then say, yeah, that's a better fit. But we never focus on what are the goals for the organization, what are the strategy or approach that they are continuing to play. And respect to the Norton and Calpin article, people, they have just found this analytics, 95% of workforce, they never understand how the company has been executing and running in profit, because each and every quarter they come up with their release or share reports, right? So almost 95% doesn't know like what's happening in the industry, and 84% of companies are not using their workforce in full potential. So let's say like I'm hiring for a candidate today with a skill set around Java, but I will be focused or thinking like he's the only candidate who can work with Java, but I never realized he has a more skill set that I can utilize, that I can upskill him, I can cross train him. I never think about that strategy or approach, which results in lacking of utilization for an employee. So all the time when I find a different technology like machine learning, I never think like, yeah, this candidate can do a job. No, I usually go for hiring an external candidate, which is almost like the skill has been unused. So that's the workforce is not used to the till of the potential level that's been available in the market at this moment. So in a similar fashion, we're also talking about the average workforce capacity is wasted versus a non-productive work. Non-productive work is going to be a lot of mechanism. When I start pitching into a non-productive work, which is going to be deep diving more and more data. When I say non-productive, let's say like, okay, you are gonna talk with your HR. Okay, let's talk about recruiting. I will pick an example from non-productive work. I'm just applying for a job today. In earlier days, where we used to, go ahead for an organization, pick up a resume, stay on the gates, and check for is there any opening, and then I will be dropping my resume with them, and probably they will just go through hundreds of resume. Right? Not everyone will be the exact fit for the position. So what the HR has to do is like always go through bunch and bunch of resume, which is going to be time consuming, or maybe they maybe selectively pick like top 10 and then go for a better fit and align them and train them. So that's always like a kind of a non-productive happens, because there is no proper chain or progress or in place, where it has resulted in a lot of time consuming matter, and resulting because I'm paid for 8 hours of work, but I'm being just wasting my time to just shortlist this resume, where I wanted to conduct an interview. That's my main goal, but here I just collecting this resume in the gate for almost like thousands of employees, which is kind of a non-productive work. So that's just an example for you people to understand how do you classify this productive as well as non-productive. To make that much simpler, SAP has come up with this recruiting one. SAP doesn't, when I say just recruiting, no, it doesn't deal with recruiting alone. It has a variety of factors. I will be coming through those sections in the next slides. So in this one, why I was listing as the recruiting. Okay, so the recruiting is one of the major model which has seamlessly reduced or made the life of a recruiter much easier, where they can understand what is the position, they create a seamless workflow, and then they hire the you conduct an interview with the candidate, identify okay what are the stages that the candidate can go through, and once they went through all the stages, they can release an offer letter from the platform. And this starting to ending, all the process has been tracked in a system which is much seamless, and gives a HR or a recruiter a much hands-on flow or a good amount of hold on it. So that has made the SAP recruiting platform as one of a successful one, and many organizations have been started implementing those platform at this moment. And the company performance is going to be cannot be optimized until and unless the workforce performance is being bringing up or we are utilizing it in a proper manner. So this is how the business essential has been challenging or executing. And now let's take a quick look on HR as well as an ID. Okay, as everyone knows now, what is an HR, right? HR is going to be the human resource of an organization, where the main job for them is to manage the employees, successfully satisfy the needs of an employee, what they're looking for, what are their growth, and how well our organization's been doing with the iteration rate. Am I hiring a right skills of candidate? And there might be many corporate policies, policy alignment, and user data management. So there are like a bunch of things that might be HRs doing. And many people think like, okay, what I'm going to do with this IT and HR altogether? That might be pretty confusing for many people, right? So that's the reason I wanted to quickly show the slide, talk about like what is it HR and how IT has been aligned to it. HR, we have a shared service as well where the HR team will be doing all the onboarding process in the back end and the recruiting process, dropping emails, coordinating with them and all that. And the IT is going to be like a place where the innovation has been happening. The IT keeps with the technology innovation and make the HR integration as well as an agile business, and helps to align the IT resource as well. So which indicates like the HR and IT will be aligning and closely, merging or collaborated together to manage the workforce. So that's, you can see the word change, rethink, and engage. It's always like a changing and dynamic world where we have to be always changing ourselves to bringing coming out of your comfort zone. That's one of the major change management is one of the key area many organizations are doing at this moment of COVID that's been happening. Many organizations have been trying to adapt to the digital transformation. They don't want to go with the old traditional way of recruiting or hiring, because in the earlier days, I think, not earlier days, in recent days, I could say, people have been asked for, coming up in person to office. Now they wanted to do everything as a ritual, and they wanted to completely adapt like a 100% digital transformation or digital organization where they can, thrive through this COVID impact that's been happening around the world at this moment. So that's the change, and rethink is like thinking about the approaches or strategies that could work for the core HR team and aligning with the IT or technical resource that's been that's already available within them, and engaging your workforce, like helping your workforce to do their job seamlessly, as well as encouraging them and boosting them to deliver what they wanted to deliver for their clients or the customer without any lag. Because HR jobs identify the role and then they hand over to the business. Business team is also closely working with the HR team and the IT team. So that's how this HR and IT space has been collaborated together, and which is creating a sustainable environment for us. So that's one of a really great feature that we have been having this SAP HCM suite. So that's one of the fantastic stuff that's been happening. And even though if you're before I just move to the next slide, I just wanted to help you or provide a site on it. So many people think like, okay, I don't have a pretty good background on HR, sorry, the IT space, but I wanted to be into the IT, as well as I know that I've been working as an HR professional in chat service team for a while, and I wanted to change my stream. And definitely the HCM space is going to be a benefit for them, because they don't want to go for hardcore learnings, go for certification. Yes, certification is also there as part of an SAP HCM, but this platform is really, really interesting compared to other platforms or languages like Java and other programs, right? So machine learning has been one of the emerging trend and all that, but that requires a lot of programming and key skills. But SAP platform, yes, there might be a little bit on the programming side, but still they have the functional side as well, which many people can put their hands on, and they can quickly cross-train. And we have a lot of good materials that's been available for us. We can go through those materials, and then definitely we'll be getting benefited out of it, and showcase yourself as an HR specialist or a HCM specialist. Many organizations are hiring for an HCM specialist at this moment. So that's going to be a better fit for you and help you to shape your career to the next level. So let's take a close look on what is an HXM. And I was talking a while back. Okay, this is going to be providing a good definition about it. So HCM is going to be like human experience management, which is one of a powerful, very powerful cloud solution that's been offered to many organizations, which is kind of like open as well as a secure technology that's been delivered with many organizations. And many organizations started moving to the cloud space, where earlier they had it as part of an on-premises. When I say on-premises and cloud, I just wanted to make it clear. If you have a good IT background, you might be familiar. If not, I'm just going to quickly provide you an insight on it. So on-premises is nothing but having your own dedicated server. When I say server, it's your own house. Like, okay, many organizations in earlier days, what they did, uh, they, you know, brought a couple of servers or machines where they can host all the softwares and codes and everything in a single space for them within the organization, and they try to access it. What happens in that case? It's a lot of cost-consuming factors where they have to dedicatedly spend for the hardware, and they have to, appoint an technician to continuously manage the servers, and there might be power consuming. So a lot of factors has been affecting it. And if there is a downtime or something goes wrong, their complete data is going to be messed around. So now the cloud space has jumped in, which has helped many organizations to rapidly adapt to what they have and what they want it to be. So when the cloud started coming in, like AWS, Azure, and all that, so they started renting out the spaces that they can host the program or the code or any other stuff that you wanted to host into the cloud space. But it's available for you can access it anytime, anywhere. It doesn't mean like you have to appoint a technician. It's already available because as part of the cost or space model, Amazon Web Services has been providing, a bunch of space for you to host your code or platform based on the space consumption. And also they monitor your data. It's not like monitoring, they maintain your data, and it's completely confidential. So the level of information which is for your organization is for your organization. They will not be able to go through it. They have a set of norms and cultures. So that's the benefit of cloud. So that's the reason many organizations have been moving to cloud, because many organizations have their presence all across the globe. Say like one might be in India and one might be in US and one in UK, and now they wanted to find a centralized server to host everything. So now people has been moved into AWS, most of people, and Microsoft as well. So where AWS has been storing all their data in a centralized location like um, UK or US, and then Netherlands or New Zealand. So once they host it, they provide you with a set of credentials and login where they can access all those information, and you can directly get the URL or the specific credentials to log into their server space, and you can actually access it. So that's one of the merit. People have been moving into the cloud space. So that's the reason you can see that I was mentioning as a cloud-based solution. And it's a secure technology as well. Like, that the data has been completely protected and there is no data leakage. It's going to happen. And people might be so confident on the level of data that's been hosted. And the HCM space now, okay, you told me a lot of information about HXM. Now let's see, like, okay, can you tell me deep dive or provide me more information what all these components going to be? Now you've been telling me most of the time it's going to beneficial for the HR and beneficial for the IT team. It's been combined together. Yeah, I get the whole picture. Now, what are the components of it, or what are the bifurcation that's going to be part of it? Yes, I do have like 4 bifurcations for that. So one is an employee experience management. And the second one is a core HR and payroll, talent management, as well as HR analytics and workforce planning. So these are the 4 major categories that's been available at this moment. So each and every product vendor has been trying to shape their own product based upon 4 bifurcations. This is for SAP. In similar fashions, many other vendor it's also been shaping or designing their HXM or HCM platform, or they call like core services and all that. So they have categorized it across in such a manner. So I will just go through each and everything in a detailed manner in upcoming slides. So that could provide you more insights about that. Before I move there, so now you've been telling me that HXM is there. So what is going to be, beneficial out of it? Like how the experience of HXM. Earlier, people used to sell like, okay, I'm going to sell you recruiting. I'm going to provide you learning. I'm going to provide you performance and goals. So that's how the each and every organization has been selling individual softwares to the each and every product company was selling to the organizations. Now, to make the world much easier, this HXM suite has been came into the picture, where it's been all clubbed together, available under one house, where people can easily access it, and it's going to be like an integrated HR solution that an employee can consume with a seamless integration and seamless data flow within the platform. That's one of the major accomplishments that the industry has been seeing at this moment. And the next step we'll be seeing on like how it's going to be like a simple cloud-based software, and they have designed this UX like which is a user experience in a much seamless and friendly way. Because earlier we have to click something and we never understand like the number of clicks. People might be using the mobile devices. Okay, sorry. In earlier days, they don't have the mobile devices, so all they have to do is come back to the computer and they have to search for the particular website or the data and then go through all the norms and procedures, and they have to click almost 20 to 30 pages or like 30 clicks to access one particular content, or they want to create a job posting in the newspapers and all that. So that's going to be time consuming. So considering those factors into the picture, this HCM software has been helping them, and much simpler user experience design considering the end users. And intelligent technology has been embedded in all these platforms, so where it has this machine learning stuff, machine learning, right? So it's one of a hot topic or hot cake, I could say. So where it started learning from our interaction. So it starts memorizing the way of preference that we have been doing up into the system, and it learns from our data and then trains itself and then delivers it. So that's the main concept of machine learning. So let's say like in the learning space, I'm doing some content or training. I love to learn something in agile project management. And then after some days, my area of interest has been changed into manufacturing. So when I move into manufacturing, the system automatically throws something into the manufacturing because that's a skill that I was interested in. So that's what the machine learning has been, embedded into it. That's just an example. The similar fashion recruiting has also been implemented with the machine learning stuff. A lot of cool features have been coming up with each and every quarterly release that's been coming up with SuccessFactors. And it's been available as an enhancements guide for each and every quarter, and you will be able to find more information about that. I will be happy to share those information in the upcoming sessions. And integrated tools of continuity gather feedback. Okay, now there is a tool or platform which has been binded together, so which is helping us to grow and shape Yeah, the integrated tool, sorry about that. So integrated tool has been continuously helping us to, integrate the platform with each other. So, and right now, the employee database is going to be coming into the platform, and now the data will be automatically flown into okay, the first step of stage is going to be like employee management. So where the data comes in from somewhere and then it has been loaded into the system, and the data is then flowed into the recruiting. Recruiting is done. Now onboarding is going to be happening, and onboarding is done. Now let's complete set of learning. So it's going to be like a seamless integration. So that's what we have been telling at the fourth point. We are seeing an integrated tool of continuously gather feedback and address the gaps that's been happening in the platform. Yep. Sorry about that. So this slide, we will be talking about the employee experience management. Okay, you have shown me a really cool feature, like 4 different features that's been available. Now, can you provide me one level down of information? What are this going to be? What is an employee experience management? So let's take a look onto it, where employee experience will be helping us to improve the employee engagement. So which indicates like, there are like multiple factors. We will be focusing purely on recruiting on this session, but I just wanted to provide an insight about the HXM space and how it's been aligned with other platforms and other functions as well. So which will be purely focused on improving the employee engagement, where it helps them to create the surveys, and we have a very cool dashboards that will be shown by the system to the learner as well as an admin or the managers, which provides them more insights how the data has been handled and what are the level of insights that they can get from the analytics one. And the report can also be completely customizable with a drag and drop, and it also helps them to plan for the employee engagement, what they can do better for it. And similar space, the digital employee experience has also been one of the major trending trend respect to the employee regarding the employee experience, where it has tailored the data exports as well as the deliver key analytics and real-time data reports, and the AI-powered text analytics. So that's one of the fascinating feature, I could say, that's providing more insight based upon the machine learning and stuff that's been integrated. and also helps us to manage the digital ticketing system so that the resolutions have been made on time. And in parallel, we have this employee life cycle where, once they join, they have to go through a set of programs and what are the stages that they have to go through. And similar fashion, the learner, the manager can pull out a quick report about the learners, what are the phases that they've been currently going through. So that those are some of the key features of the employee experience management. And then moving on to the HR and payroll. Okay, now the employee experience management has been done. Right now, what could be the next step? I need someone to manage my payroll as well as an operations, how HR has been managed. So HR has been provided with a quite good amount of options. Saying people profile has been done where they manage or create the people profile in the system, and organizational management like an hierarchy where it will be laying around, okay, I'm your boss, who is my super boss, who is my boss and boss, who is the CEO, who is the CTO. All the organizational management can be done in the platform, as well as each and every day you work hard and all your effort has to be tracked in some system which is being focused on time and attendance. So where you spend like dedicatedly 8 hours for an organization uh, for today, then you'll be logging in somewhere, right? So those are things that's been tracked as part of the system. In similar fashion, we have this global benefits management, so where it helps you to manage all the benefits that will be provided by your organization to the employees. So that provides HR operation and people data that can be managed seamlessly. In similar, once you're doing all your hard put jobs and time has been captured and that has been shared with HR. Now rest comes to the payroll. So I know that it could be exciting when we talk about payroll. So where the payroll will be actually, accurate payroll monitoring will be done. So where it just calculates your salary and what could be a performance bonus and all that. And also each and every country has their own set of payroll where will be completely customized based on the region and the norms that has been provided by the government. And standardized payroll processing is also done, and they have a connected HR management platform or an integrator, I could say. It's a template, so where it just connects with the HR data to make sure what is the band they're joining and what is the current salary that needs to be allocated for them. So those kind of things will be managed with the payroll. Streamline HR services. So integrated, we have this couple of knowledge base and couple of policies that's been already created. So now we have this platform to quickly manage those knowledge bases, like where do I go being a new hire and what are the things that I need to do. And at the same time, what going to be like service level agreements for each and every task or the compliance that I need to be adhered to. So those things can be maintained under the Streamline HR. Let's move on to the head. Okay, it's not just a part of it, like to the continuation of the core HR and payroll, we'll be looking on to the centralized document management and innovative digital workplace experience. So which provides you a centralized space or a centralized repository where you can host all your document related needs and you can access from it. And in similar fashion, you have this compliance related requirement, it's compliance management, and where you will be able to get all the compliance related. So like if you're joining an organization today and now you have to go through certain set of, I could say standard operating procedures where you have to sign some NDAs, non-disclosure agreement about the company's confidential data that should not be involved outside. So those informations will be easily managed. And in similar fashion, there are some jobs in an organization where that you have to get certified yourself for. You have to sign yourself saying, hey, I've been, went through so and so. Now I'm able to do the job effectively. And it's like a compliance requirement. I have to definitely pass through it to perform the job. So that's one of the key requirement as a compliance management. It's not just only these are the very minor chunk I'm telling about it. There are heavy fines that might be implemented if the compliance has been not followed. So many organizations takes compliance as a very serious factor. So whenever you get some time over respect to the compliance or something, just make sure that you're paying attention and going through it. Automated HR document generation. So when they say automated, right, there might be generating an offer letter each and every time for all the employees, right? So they're not going to type all this 100 words or 500 or 1,000 words saying, hey, congratulations, hey Michelle, congratulations. or Mike, hey, congratulations that you have been aligned for this job and you're the perfect fit and all that, right? So it's auto generates it. Okay, they wanted to put only the name and the salary, and everything has been ready for them in the system. So it auto triggers everything for them. So that's a centralized management of document. Digital workplace experience as well, access to everything employee needs, making sure everything is digital and everything is virtual. So they don't want to go for hot papers, and they wanted to go through reach to a concerned person and talk about it. Everything has been moving digital, and everything is happening as a click at this world at this moment. And cross departmental guide experience and employee communication channels. So many, there is one of cool feature, people call them like an SAP Jam. So where, it provides them with a collaboration platform, the way that we have been doing with Facebook and other platform, right? SAP Jam provides with more comprehensive level of functionalities where you will be able to do or interact with your colleagues and, post up. It's kind of like a social networking. Like Facebook has recently, not recently, a while back launched the workplace where they can collaborate within their employees. It's just within the organization. It's not outside the organization. The same has been hosted across. Facebook has been selling as a product to different market now, different organizations. So in the similar fashion, SAP has their own jam where that you can implement within your organization. You can coordinate or communicate with your colleagues, and you can raise your concerns, and they can chat. It's exactly like a Facebook. Feature that has been implemented by Jam, and Jam has also many other cool feature that you will be going through later. So talent management. So this is a major piece that we will be focusing on, and we will be going through recruiting, onboarding, and performance management. So right now we have been seeing a holistic picture. Okay, employee's been there, and HR is gonna do all the job, the back end, like maintaining the user data and all that. What could be the next step? Now we have to bring everything into the system, right? So that's how these talent management is going to happen, like managing the talent. So this talent management is going to go through 3 stages, as you can see. One is a recruiting, onboarding, and other one is a performance management. So recruiting is like hunting for talent in the open market, which is more and more and more challenging. So identifying in a global talent, in the market is more challenging nowadays because many people are available throughout the globe. And now, when let's say an organization wanted to hire an employee with a machine learning expert, they wanted to go and hunt for them in the market where there might be bunch of resources available. So where it has to be completely managed, like, okay, whether the resource has been already recruited by already interviewed in the same organization before, what is the feedback that they have achieved, and also maintaining their profiles in the system that might be like old updates. So you might have also went through a couple of scenarios where you'll be trying to refer one of your friends or colleagues who is working along or in the past. So the system throws an error message, hey, this profile has been already existing. So which is almost like global talent pool or profile management or profile sourcing. So sourcing is almost like going and hunting for your profile based upon your job requisition is done. And candidate relationship is like, maintaining, excuse me. So candidate relationship management is something like maintaining the complete workflow, like that you have identified, you have been trying to post a job today. You have been open to thousands of employees, and you have been posted in LinkedIn, Facebook, newspapers all across. Now let's see like how many candidate has been came for this position, or how many has applied for this position. Let's say like if 100 has applied, and out of this 100, can you tell me what is the 95th employee or 95th the learner who has, not the learner, actually the user has applied for this job? What is the current status? That might be a need for the HR to quickly see like, okay, what happened for the 100th resource that has been applied for this job? So this platform provides a very seamless approach where everything can be tracked, like what is the first level round, what is the status of second round, third round, whether he has been rolled to the offer letter, whether he has been in an ongoing screening process, the background check. So those information will be seamlessly provided, and it also helps the candidate to keep them updated. Hey, you have been selected for this job, your profile has been at screening, and that provides like centralized or one view or one pager kind of an environment where the learner can quickly go through, sorry, the HR can quickly go through the candidate profile and identify what is the current status of it. So that's the candidate relationship management. And we'll be talking more and more about the recruiting, what are the actual needs and what we are going to do across the recruiting and all that in upcoming slides. The major focus of this session is going to be on recruiting, and then later of stage we'll be going through onboarding as well. Access to needed talent. Now, there might be a need for talent always. So when I say there is a need for talent, there might be a job opening that's been happening. And based upon the job opening, it might be internal or external. So people might think like, okay, I'm done with this job internally. Now I wanted to move out to a different position within the same organization. Yes, it's possible. So that's why the system has been providing with us in the future for access to the needed talent where they can apply for this position either internally or externally. Opening to both, yes, the same. We have the resource already working in the organization. It's just like a department transfer. We can do it, or else we can also have an external hire coming into picture, and we will be going through a set of interview process. And even the internal process, internal hire or internal transfer will also be going through all the interview process based upon the current job or the requirement. And next is going to be the onboarding step. Okay, the onboarding is one of the cool feature where you have hired an employee today. Okay, now I have hired an employee and he has been onboarded, so that comes then onboarding into the picture. So onboarding provides you a picture. Okay, now the employee has accepted an offer letter. So what could be the next step? I'm gonna have to ask him to sign some paperwork, and sorry. So I have to ask him to sign some paperwork based upon the NDA agreement that's been available. He has to sign the offer letter. He has to provide all the government verification IDs. We have to verify his past experience. A lot of things will be coming into picture with respect to the HR task that they're gonna do, and that's going to be very seamless with this onboarding, software that's available with SAP. Now we have this onboarding 2.0 as well, which has been quite enhanced compared to this 1.0. So we have a lot of cool features that has been integrated into the 2.0 version. And you can see that it will also be helping to onboard, offboard, as well as the cross-boarding. So which helps to move from one position to another. What are the key skill set that you have to go through, or if you have any certifications that it has to go through, and that thing will also be able to capture, or cross-boarding will also be an easy approach. And from admin side, yes, it's very easy, or very friendly to quickly see like what process has been going on, where are they currently standing in, whether the NDA norms have been done, whether the agreement or submission of documents has been done. So everything can be validated rather than going for all paperwork and all that, right? Like physical work. So this system has made our job much easier. So that's one of the major accomplishments that we have been doing with the recruiting and onboarding. Next is the performance management. Now, I hired someone and they have onboarded successfully, and he's on the job, and now I have to do a performance management. So now in order to do a performance, I always need to set up some goals for them. So because I have joined the organization today, if you like SAP, I could say I've joined an SAP today and I've just wanted to know what are my goals based for this job. So those goals will be defined by your manager, and those will be continuous performance management will be happening with your management, where you'll be saying, hey, for this quarter, I have did so and so, and this is a goal that you've been trying to set for me. So those informations will be captured as part of this performance management. And this reviews and evaluations with your manager is always been tracked in the platform and captured it over there. And next is an action planning. It's a guided action planning that when during your talks, you might be putting out to your manager, hey, you know what? I'm being interested on this agile stuff, but at this moment, I don't have an option to work on it. Then your manager will be helping or guiding with the action planning stuff. Hey, you know what? We can do it in the Q3 or Q4. This is going to be a recommend, and I may be swapping in a project or upcoming project that's in the pipeline. So those things will be done by your manager side. And then coming into the compensation management, it's like the rewards and the recognitions, as well as the performance bonus and all that will be captured as part of a compensation management. So which this platform will be providing us more elevated way or structured way of planning, and as well as designing those things as well, and also avoiding some badges or some HR related stuff like recognition awards and all that. So as we have been talking in the previous slide, like recruiting and onboarding, right? Those are like butter and jam. In similar fashion, we have this performance as well as a compensation management, which always goes with each other, which has interrelations with each and everything. So that's the reason it always go with like a butter and jam. So next step is going to be learning. Now you have been, assigned your goals and you have been defined the salaries and all that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I'm seeing a continuation of flow right from, I have hired someone, now I have recruited, and now he has onboarded, and now he knows his goal, what he has to do in the job to be successful. And we have been paying him for some stuff. That's a compensation that's been happening. And now what happens if this cycle has been repetitive? The employee will be get bored up and he's not cross-trained or he's not up to the mark, right? Because he thinks like, I'm not getting anything much challenging because they're asking me to do something, I'm doing it, that's it, I'm not upskilling myself. So that comes into the birth of a learning, where we will be helping the learners to go through, learn new stuff like upskilling them or reskilling them. So that's one of the major factor that's been happening. And this learning experience, SAP Learning, SuccessFactors Learning, which has provided a modern and engaging learner experience, which has more ritual dashboard or more interesting or elegant dashboard, I could say. That's more engaging for the learners as well as a manager to quickly see, okay, these are the mandatory trainings that you have to do for this job. And if I'm drilling a pipeline today, I have to go for a certain set of job aids or a standard operating procedure that I have to complete it before I touch this mission or before I do this job. So that will be tracked seamlessly in this learning platform, which is a learning management system. And in the similar fashion, you can also connect with people and experts. We can chat with them. There are a lot of ILT sessions as well, which is an instructor-led session where the instructor will be hosting a meeting or a live session where you can directly collaborate and talk with them and clarify all your doubts. And most of the sessions will be recorded, and you can also bring those recorded sessions into the learning system. Everything will be tracked in similar fashion. The compliance, again, I warned you a while back, like the compliance is one of the major concern or one of a key highlight that you have to do it at the earliest when you join an organization. This compliance training is also tied with that. I was telling a few minutes before about drilling a hole in your land, that you have to go through a complete set of instructions and manual that you have to adhere and sign. Yes, I'm a completely agree for the consequence, or I know that I'm fit for this job and I went through all the trainings. So those are the things I will be saying as a compliance related stuff, as an example. And succession and development, yeah, it's a pretty seamless approach that has been done from recruiting to learning. Now, what's the next step? Succession and development plans. So, what's going to be my career plan? So that comes with the main picture when you're saying, okay, you asked me to do some learning, you paid me a handful of stuff, and I'm doing my job at the best. What could be the next step, and what could be the future? So we are not saying the same thing as to after the bubble drop or bubble burst. So the market is still seamlessly changing once we have this Java as our training technologies. Now things have moved into machine learning, Python, and many of the different platforms like UX designs and all that. So what is the career development, and where am I going to stay? What are the roles that's been present within the organization? So those things have to be planned. That can be planned using the succession development platform, where the designations will be identified and what could be the role. Like, I'm a junior consultant, I'm going to be like a senior, I'm going to be like a manager or assistant director or a managing director. So those informations and career development planning will be done as part of this phase. So that gives you a more clear picture about the talent management, I hope. Next thing talks about HR analytics and workforce planning. So HR analytics is one of analytics. That's an interesting word. Many people might be went through this word analytics, and that's giving one of the major data in this current ongoing and evolving industry, where people have been looking or quite good handsome of dashboards that's available in the market at this moment, and many products like Tableau and other vendors have been available in the market. They're providing very good look and feel of how to represent the data for the management as well as the senior management. Because once you're growing up in your role, the senior management will not be interested to see like, okay, what are the roles? Sorry, not interested to see all your detailed explanation or investigation. So they will be quickly looking onto the numbers. Okay, how well it's been transformed. Can you give me an analysis compared to the previous year or the previous quarter? So those information has to be presented in the form of an analytics. So that's one of the major need. And this HAP analytics platform did that do the job much seamlessly and easier. So which has a handful of integrations with other platform, because when you talk to your management, they might be looking, okay, give me a rate or give me an analytics report about the list of hiring that has happened, or give me a good amount of analytics of what's trending in the organization report respect to what skills our organization has been currently holding up and what are the areas that we are lagging in. So those informations can be easily pulled out from just using this analytics, and it's completely data driven, and where we have all the set of data available in your organization through a multiple HXM platform that's been implemented. So it's much easier for them to quickly pull that out. And planning, we always have for workforce planning as well as headcount, because the iteration rate happens with the organizations. People may come, they go away, they might explore for other opportunities as well. So that planning phase will also be really helpful for them to, quickly plan about the headcount as well as the operational stuff, as well as, financial, how well are we doing in the growth chart, or behind the scene, or should we hire more resource for certain technologies or are in the pipeline. So everything has to be done as part of the planning phase. So this provides you a good picture about the HR analytics and workforce planning. And next step moves on to the merits of an HXM. HXM is like a human experience management. So what are the merits? We have this experience first approach. So where it provides like an end-to-end, like one layer is on going to touch up with the other. That provides a more meaningful of information for the learners, and always help them to actively engage in the platform, and it has been more productive. So that's one aspect. Another one is a deep and innovative strategy for HR capabilities. Now, there are multiple areas that we are touching across in HXM space, and how well it's going to be like unique. So, multiple departments. It's like not only one department is going to work on so and so job. It's like multiple people are working, and what we have like a centralized area, like a common area that's going to identify and help our critical business need and workforce transformation. So that's one of our merit. And open platform and community, we have this open platform where people can always play key role in helping the customers to succeed. And also providing with an SAP solutions, they have been provided more than 300 plus partner apps, and now we can also build our own app and host it. And future-proof foundation for your people platform. People can, you can confidently move into the multi-cloud infrastructure where it has been hosted across different areas where people can seamlessly access it, and comparing to the speed and accessing of the platform is much simpler and easier to do it. So that's one of it. So these are a couple of merits SAP has been showcasing us when we are looking for the HXM space. So please don't say like a HCM and it's no longer HCM. We could always say like a HXM. And under that, we will be focusing on talent management. When I say talent management, I know that you might be easily recalling it, but recapping it once again for you. It's going to be starting from recruiting, onboarding, performance management, compensation management, learning, succession, and planning. So once you've been familiarized with all these 6 models, you could say yourself, I'm an expert in talent management space. So it's a complete set of space that you can be easily showcasing yourself, and there are a lot of job openings that's been happening in the market at this moment. So business insights. Okay, so what's BizX? I'm here. There might be people saying, okay, there is something called BizX. So business intelligence tool. So where it helps you to align, optimize, and accelerate. So align is always like helping or identifying the right thing, and right thing at the right time or right place to get the work done. So it's almost like a planning. So we have to plan things at the right moment to make it successful. So say like if I wanted to hire 100 employees after a year, I need to have a plan. Without the plan, nothing moves even. So after having the plan, we need to identify the right people and make them great. Like, okay, in order to hire so and so employees, like I'm gonna hire 100 employees at the end of the year. Uh, I'm going to hire 100 employees at the end of the year, then I need to definitely plan in advance. By October or November, I have to start the hiring process where I need to identify all those 100 profiles, or I have to host it in a different social networking platform so that I can get hundreds of profiles and I can start screening them. And maybe the next year beginning, I will be having more profiles to do the job that I'm looking for. So that will be laying in hands on the optimize section. And third one is going to be accelerate. So now, it's going to be like accelerating the business based upon the operation that we did. It's like align, optimize, and accelerate. So these things has been tied together as like a business success. So that's one of the major key benefit out of it. So now I was telling HCB, HCM as well as HXM, right? Now you can see that this is the actual HCM, how it looks like for an organization. As you can see, the foundation model. So we have this employee central, payroll, employees and easy, it's a time, and then benefits. So these are, it's going to be like foundation. So employee central is like a centralized warehouse or a repository where all the user related information will be managed. So if your organization is using SAP at this moment, they might be using the employee central as their single hub or a single amount of data that will be having all the requirements. And in a similar fashion, they will be having the payroll as well. And moving on to the time management. So the time management is going to be like you're managing all your time related stuff, and the payroll is going to be managing the payroll stuff and all that. And at the end, we have this benefit and focus. So beneficial has to, identify the needs or the benefits that an employee will be getting from the job. So these are the basic foundation. Each and every organization will be doing it. And in parallel, we have this enablement through engagement, which indicates, there are like a variety of factors. I was telling you about the talent management, right? You can see those plots here, like a recruiting, onboarding, performance, and goals, and learning, succession, development, and compensation. So this will be, enable like driving the engagement, I could say, making your workforce to drive the picture into a well and efficient and manner. So you can see that without the foundation, you cannot build the blocks on top of it. So you always need to have these things already in place to make sure that you've been building these blocks successfully in the system. So always make sure there are some core requirements or a foundation of data it's been required to build the blocks or the road. Just give me a minute. Excuse me, sorry. Yep. So these are really helpful. This will be providing you more information about like how the foundation looks like and how this performance goal or recruiting, onboarding, learning, and succession will be staying on top of. Moving on to that, this is just to provide you a good understanding how an application sits in an organization respect to user data as well as the components of SAP checksum that's been available. I could say SAP a talent management here so that it could provide you a complete things of information that's been available, right? The same amount of information, performance goal, compensation, succession, recruiting, onboarding, learning. So yeah, you can see here, this is one of a good example or a good slide, I could say, that could provide you a detailed view of how it's been categorized in the basics inside, right? I was telling about basics suite where you will align, operate, and optimize. So here we are seeing, right, first phase is going to be the goal, performance, workforce planning, which is going to be major. Okay, let's say like today you're gonna start an organization. So right now we have to come up with a strategy. I'm gonna, start a learning industry. Not the learning industry, I could say I'm gonna start some organization on learning, or I'm gonna start some institute. Let's take that example of an institute where it's gonna provide some certifications to students for Microsoft certifications or SAP certifications like that. Now I have to come up with a clean goal. Like, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to deliver certification for the students. And now I have to hire so-and-so employees. And this is what I'm looking myself in the future. Now I have the goal. Now I'm looking for the workforce planning. And now I have the performance. And now I'm going to start the recruiting. Okay, now the planning is done. I know my goal. This is my new organization. Next stage is going to be recruiting. I'm going to recruit a couple of people, maybe say 100 employees for doing the job of an instructor to teach the training. Now I know that I'm going to hire 100 plus people. Recruiting is done. Now I have to confirm their wages or pay scale. That will be done as part of compensation. Now the instructors have been hired to make sure instructors have been upskilling and to satisfy the ongoing business need of current market information. So we always need to upskill them through learning, and then with succession planning, helping them for the career development, growth, and all that will be done part of succession. And then with all the information has been done from beginning to end, now I need to know how this collaboration will be done within the employees, and good amount of analytics that's been taken out from the system. So that gives you an overall picture of the basic suits of a binary. You can see that 1 0 1 zeros 1 zeros. So that's a good set of binaries. And you can see the foundation is an employee central. Without the employee central, you will not be able to build any. It's like building the block for, setting up the foundation to build a house. It's kind of thing. In order to, the foundations, employee central, and the blocks are all your, the goals, performance, workforce planning, and all that. So that's hope that's giving you a clear picture or understanding about it. And at the top, I was telling about some kind of approach, the strategy. Okay, the first thing, why I choose strategy, right? You always need to come up with a strategy to choose your business model to operate. Okay, I have my business model. What is going to be my goal, and what is the performance, and all that, right? So that's strategy. And respect to financials, these are gonna be. I'm just telling as an example here. I'm going to start an organization. I have to come up with a strategy, which is going to be aligned with the goals, performance, and workforce planning. And now I have to worry about my financials. Okay, do I need an investor, or am I having a sufficient fund to operate the organization? Am I completely, am I looking for any other offer or shareholders or going for an IPO and all that? Those financial things need to be done. And then, supply chain, like identifying the resource, having it handy, or if I don't have a sufficient resource, I have to look for them in the market. So that supply chain need to be done, and then operation has to be done, right? So now we have this supply chain is identified. You hired someone, now you have to operate them efficiently, and then getting the feedback out of them, like an employee survey. So which is going to be performed with JAM, where you'll be actually coordinating with your employees to understand what are their concerns, if everything is doing good. If you treat your employees better, probably they understand the customer better, right? So the customer, actually your employees know the customer better, where they get all the information and they hold it up together, and they will be delivering to you as, okay, these are the pain points the customer is looking for. Probably we can scale our business in a better way, or we can enhance our product in a better way, so that it aligns to the need of the customer. So that's done through a survey, through in JAM and all that. And then finally with the CRM as an analytics platform that helps you to gather all the information into a single warehouse of place through an analytics platform. So that's what I just have listed on the top, like what are the approaches that they could go for it, like from strategy, financial, supply chain, operations, employee survey, and CRM. And again, I'm repeating, the employee central is going to be like foundation, and where it might be done by a separate consultant, because it's going to touch around all the areas. So we will be focusing on recruiting, onboarding, and then the learning and compensations and all that as part of a talent management. So, and also wanted to let you know there might be individual consultants who might be playing a one particular specialization. People will come back and say, hey, you know what, I'm a consultant in recruiting on SAP Talent Management. That indicates like they are the master on it, and they know the nook and corner of it, and they can easily implement the platform. There might be a separate consultant for the learning management system as well, where they will actively implement the learning, and they understand what are the requirements that's coming for. They suggest them with a recommended solution. Not everyone can be expert on everything, right? It's identifying individual consultants for everything could always be a benefit. And some organizations will also look for the consultant who has been a complete certified professionals across these areas, as now earlier SAP was not in such a manner. They had a SuccessFactors, a separate firm, and SAP and SuccessFactors has binded together as a single organization a while back. Now they have been sending as a suite for all the organizations, and now the organizations are looking for consultant who can have a knowledge on 2 or 3 models that could be a better fit for them. And even if you have 1 or 2, based upon need of let's say like talk about learning, right? Or the payroll, many organizations are looking for payroll candidates or a consultant who can help them to align the payroll across the globe when they do some implementation. So these are some of the key factors I thought that could be helpful. Okay, now I know that you got some good familiar hands-on about the SAP SuccessFactors and what it's been doing up and what are the areas across it. Now let's take a like a one level down. Okay, now let's focus on only the recruiting for the rest of the session, and then we can keep continuing on the next model, upcoming models. So what is a SuccessFactors recruiting? It's just like an applicant tracking program which used to, which is actually used to request an sorry, applicant tracking program that's used to initiate a requisition and view all the applicant information and help them to record all the interview related results. So that will be easily tracked in the system and managed. As I was telling, this is an applicant tracking system, which as soon as the learner has been applying for a job, you don't want to evaluate all the thousands profile. Okay, I'm opening a job today and I don't want to evaluate all 1,000+ resume that I received today. The system already does the job. That's the reason they're saying like an applicant tracking system or applicant tracking program. People used to say like an ATS, applicant tracking system, where the system automatically, analyze the resume and identifies what are the relevant matches, and it automatically scores them. Okay, you know what? This profile is gonna rank like 80%, 90%. Then that makes the world of an HR much easier, right? They can quickly go through those top candidate profile and they can, conduct an interview for them. So that makes the life of an HR much easier and happier. So that's one of the cool feature I could say as part of an ATS. And there are like many added feature with the HR, with the recruiting system. We'll be going through it in later phases. HR a recruiting system, which always helps the organizations or companies to attract, engage, and identify the best talent. That's the main purpose of the recruiting. And you might be asking me, okay, why SAP has been focusing on this area? Because this is not so easy to hire a candidate, right? So you can hire a candidate just talking with them and identifying their profile. Yeah, he's a benefit, but you always need to track it. Okay, when do I hire it? When did the candidate apply? He's an ex-employee. So all those information need to be tracked, right? So which is one of our recruiting is major industry that SAP has been seeing, or many other organizations have started focusing on these models for the talent management. And that's the reason SAP has a customized recruiting, and the onboarding is also being keep on enhancing. So onboarding and recruiting is one of the major model as part of an SAP talent management. So as part of recruiting, there might be 3 main features. One is the core recruiting, internal and external career sites, and job distribution. So the main core recruiting is right. So okay, now I'm an HR today. I'm having a job which has been approved by the director. Okay, director is telling me, hey, you know what? Hey, Michelle, I just wanted to open an open position today for a machine learning expert. Can you do it? Then probably there might be an approval process. I got it. I got the funding from the management. Everything is great. Let's go ahead. Now that comes into requisition, right? So now we know there is an open position that's going to be happen for this company, and now we are going to create a requisition, and then we are going to process the candidate application. Okay, 100 employees have applied for this position. I have posted in LinkedIn and the social platforms, as well as Indeed, Monsters, and all that. The candidate application has been posted up. Now the people have started applying it. Now I have to identify the best candidate. The applicant tracking system ATS has been helped me to identify the best candidate and hire it. So this flow is been a part of core recruiting. Again, I repeat, this is going to be like core recruiting features because that happens by day in the life of an HR. So which is pretty good one, and it just goes as a cycle, like opening a registration, processing the candidate application, scheduling interviews and all that, and then identifying and rolling out the offer letter for the candidate.
The next thing talks about the internal and external career side. Many of you might have been through this. Uh, in the marketplace, there might be, why they call like internal and external. Like I'm been, pretty familiar with the job that I'm doing on, and I have been went through recently due to market traction. I was more interested in big data fundamentals, or I've been certified in machine learning, and the one I'm doing is on Java, and now being a Python specialist and machine learning specialist, I wanted to switch over my job, and the management decides, okay, this job we have so and so funding, and it has to be open only for the internal candidates. And we are not going to allow any external due to the visa regulations, or many factors to be considered. So due to that regulations, people might be hiring only for the internal employees who is already available, and but they may be upskilled. So that can be posted on internal career side. There are chances, they create like, okay, this position we have a lot of funding, and this skill set is not available in the organization. If someone is interested, yes, they're welcome to apply. They have upskilled from somewhere outside the organization, which was not updated in the portal. So that's going to be the external. It's like opening outside of organization is going to be like external career sites. So internal and external career site, that's going to provide more information about it. And job distribution. So now we have, identify the position, we created it in the platform. Now we have to roll out to the entire audience in the world. So it's going to be like you are going to put in your organization website. So once you post it in your website, now people have to always, come through, say like, okay, this is going to be like a pharma industry. I'm just going to put an URL of www.abc.com, and now I'm just going to search for, go to the career, search for using a keyword. Okay, this position has been open or no. And nowadays, LinkedIn has been doing most of the job, I could say. The reason is now when you go into your LinkedIn, once you create your profile, you have these jobs, and you will be able to quickly see what are the jobs that's been available, right? So that has been done mainly through the SAP recruiting model, which indicates or provide you an API to directly connect the LinkedIn platform as well as the recruiting, SAP recruiting, so that all the data which has been posted or published will be directly communicated through LinkedIn. And just to be note, these features have been completely open to you, and you can enable it or you can disable it. It's all up to you whether you have to post it in or LinkedIn. It doesn't mean like all the data that's been available in SAP recruiting system will be flown into LinkedIn or Indeed or Monster or any other platform that you've been referring or thinking about it. So it's everything has been when I say integration, the API feeder, application programming interface, that will be happening in the back end of a data communication from A to B. It will be happening seamlessly. We will be going through later section about the list of APIs that's been available, and we can get more information about that. So recruitment basics. So now we have got a good understanding about, okay, these are the recruiting stuff is going to be happening. Now let's take a quick look on hiring a candidate. What are going to be the list of a process that's going to be played around? As you can see, that job registration process, that's the number one. And today my director called me and told me, hey, you know what, Michelle, we just wanted to create a job position for you today, job position in the system today. And that's the first step of job registration. We need to identify what is the job description and what is the role that you're planning to hire and all that. And now we got all the information about that, and we are going to post the job. And now we're going to identify whether it has to be hosted internally or external. So I was telling you a few minutes before, right? What's the difference between internal and external? Based upon the actual job need, we will be deciding which could be the perfect fit of the platform. And next, we will be analyzing the candidate application and profile, whether it's going to be like better fit. And candidate pipeline, we'll be feeling like, okay, this is not the better fit at this moment, but we can keep them in the pipeline for the future aspects. If the job skill has been matching with A to A or A to B, then we can consider for the future. Most of the job positions that's been created, one candidate will be applying for one position. So that's how it's always like one-to-one relationship. I will be explaining in detail about that. And there are chances, where we have one-to-many as well, where the same user can apply for a position of ABC too. And then the interview assignment has been done, where the interview schedules will all be prepared in the system. The user might be doing the first level phone interview on so and so date, and then they go for video interview, and third one is going to be a face to face, or based upon the business need, they will be deciding it. So everything will be tracked, and once the interview has been done, the feedbacks have been gathered on that phase, and then finally it moves on to the offer and approval letter, where the designations has been confirmed, and the offer has been rolled out, and now we have to get the approval letter from the candidate as well as from our senior management. This offer is going to be rolled out. Yeah, that's the final thing about that. So these are the main key or basic process that will be happening across. And when we move one level down or talk more about it, we'll be using most of this terminology. So that's the reason I wanted to recap at the beginning so that we can take a quick look onto it. So configuration resources. So when I say this is going to be deep diving more and more information about like what are the key information that's been required when we start implementing a recruiting. Okay, this is like a basic foundation or checklist that you always have to do. So role-based permissions. So when I say role-based permissions, there are a couple of roles for the recruiting. Okay, one might be an HR administrator, one might be a faculty who will be creating the job, and one might be a the admin. So there are like 3 or 4 roles. I will be coming through those roles later based upon what is available in the system, and this will be keep on differing for each and every organizations. So each and every organization can customize the role based upon it. It doesn't mean like all the organization has to stick to the same set of roles that's available with the SAP recruiting. So always like check like what is the level of access. So when I say role-based permission, right? So let's say like a manager, right? Manager can always view the employee information. So that's one of a manager role has an access to do so and so job. I'll talk for an example in recruiting. As being a recruiter, I will be able to, or I will be allowed to see an information about like what candidate, what is the status of the current candidate, and the manager will not be able. Manager will also be able to see it, but they will not be able to move the candidate to the next level. Only the HR will be able to do it. So those level of restrictions can be done and configured based on the role-based permissions, and the language pack and translations as well as the managing UI labels. So SAP gives it pretty good, hands-on for us to configure the language of in the UI, whether it has to be done in the English or it's going to be like other regions, the language translation has to be done. And when you are doing the implementation phase, always the recruiting language has to be identified what is the language, and it can be always changed in the provisioning. Provisioning is some of the for the first time when you've been acquiring and implementing the SAP, they will be providing the provisioning access for the company, and in that you will be able to change the language. And the user management is always like holding all the user level data, which will be coming from Employee Center from our HR data feed that has been integrated. So which will be coming up with all the account level information, like what's the user profile, what's his role, and what designation he is in all that information. Document management, it helps you to, the administrator to manage all the document in a centralized place of an HXM suite. And administrator can manage or view, manage or configure the storage setting, whether the learner can upload so and so document and what could be the space of it and how many document can be uploaded by learner. All the information can be, I'm sorry about that, when I say learner, it's a user. So when the user, how many information can be uploaded by the user, that can be configured. And metadata framework is a platform that's one of a, it's a framework of pattern. When you say it's a structure, so it has to be, when you build a new application, the framework is one of a key feature. And you can also add it to an existing solutions, or if you wanted to modify any out-of-box solution. So if you wanted to say like, I wanted to change some workflow, I want to change some process on it, then definitely that we have to touch some metadata framework and we can customize it. And pick list is one of a drop down value that has to be displayed when I'm going to recruit. I'm going to recruit for India region, or I'm going to recruit for UK, or I'm going to recruit for Argentina. So those drop down lists can be configured like it's a parent child relationship, right? Cascading stuff. So if I choose South Africa, that I have, then again under the drop down you'll be able to see Argentina or Africa or whatever the region is, right? So it's like based upon the parent-child relationship. One value has been selected, and the corresponding value will be displayed based upon the value that you've been choosing out from the parent. And people profile as the latest version of the employee profile, so where it provides you more delegated of information about the people. More information about the people that's been displayed, which is the latest version of the employee profile. They call it like a people profile. And business rules, now we have an option to customize the business rules. Whether say like if I'm hiring for a position, now I wanted to have a business rule in place. And now where job requisition is created, and again, I need to get some approval from so and so people, and then again go through it. Now, so that's kind of flow can be configured in the system. That's what people say like business rule. From A to B or A to C, that will be defined, or if there is a one level of additional approval is required, so that can be done through a business rule. So as you can see that in recruiting, you can use the business rules for the job requisitions. So when I create job requisition, when I put the job information, job title, and all that I submitted, then I have to go through an approval or get an approval from my senior vice president. Then he approves it. Then it comes back into me for going into the hiring process or identifying the profile in the market. So those kind of business rules based upon your current business requirement, try to understand from your business team or try to go through your business requirement document and then customize the business rule accordingly. Okay, integration center. So integration center is one of the major aspects. So where it's going to be like build, run, and schedule. And if you have been integrating with the recruiting model with any other platform, which is going to be running in the back end. So HR data, right? The user data will be coming the user data will be flowing from recruiting to onboarding. So this has to be done or configured on nightly basis as well. So today I'm just going to say I have hired a candidate. I'm just changing the status in recruiting. It has to move through an onboarding because the candidate has joined the organization. So information has to pass through, right? So that's the help of an integration center where the data will be, running through a template where we have this user XX information. He has hired on so and so date and it on daily night feed that information will be passed from one model of recruiting into the onboarding and then into the performance or into the HR system. So that's a seamless flow. So the integration center is almost like tying up many systems based upon the API feed or what's been configured. This functionality will be set up. Intelligence service simplifies. So we have this intelligence service for which it's going to be increasing the user experience for the employees as well as the manager and business partners, helping them to have a single experience rather than having multi-views kind of thing. When I say multi-view, the manager may have a different look and feel. The business partners might have a look and feel. So now the system is coming up and understanding what could be a better fit and what is a service that's been needed or the look and feel of the dashboard. So it can be customized accordingly. uh, OData API, which is actually an API, web service API that's been hosted or provided by SAP SuccessFactors, which is actually past a real-time data request. Where even it's going to be like a small amount of data or a large, the information can be processed in a batch through and processed in a batch through an FTP process. It's file transfer protocol where the API quickly sends the information to the FTP path and it has been stored there and then it has been routed into the consent system, which is going to digest the data. Here they have just mentioned an example, OData API, right? For recruiting, it's common. OData refreshes when the field has been added to the configuration. Say like I'm gonna add a new field saying when I'm hiring or a candidate has been applying for a job, there might be multiple fields that they've been looking for. Say we wanted to get their SSN number in US, right? So that's one of the major criteria that's been looking for. So that has been added. Once it's been added, probably we don't want to wait for a long time. The OData API, we have, fetches the data in the real time and passes the data into the system so that it just moves there. And the homepage, is one of a better dashboard view, which is going to be available for the learners. So where they can customize the dashboard look and feel based upon their current need. So that's going to be like a default start page of the HXM suite. It provides a dashboard of all the analytics, and I will show you after the slides like how the dashboard looks like today, and then maybe we will be going it later for the rest of the sections. And data protection and privacy, it's one of the personal data protection. So the data privacy is one of the real concerns that's been rising up. And as per the Brexit law and all that, right? The data privacy is one of the challenging aspects with social networking and all that. So based upon your organization need, all the data can be implemented and the data can be completely protected. in the SAP system. And proxy management, it's like accessing permission. So in case of I'm doing a recruiting today, and I'm not able to hire an employee. That is some refining, or system is refining me to do a job. Then probably an administrator can proxy it, so where they can put my name and they can quickly log in as my name, like Mitchell, and they can quickly go through, okay, what's causing that challenge, and they can help me to troubleshoot it. It's like replicating or proxying in my absence, or helping me to troubleshoot it. So that will be playing a role of proxy management. System email notifications, make sure that I know the recruiting emails have been flowed out based upon the configurations that been configured. Like, okay, you have been successfully cleared the first round, and probably we will be conducting second load of interview for you. And there might be a lot of mails from 100 plus or thousands of learner users might be applied for a job. And now we have picked the right candidate. We have to shoot an email to the rest of the candidates. I'm sorry that you're not a better fit. So those informations can be configured in the system, and it will be auto-triggered. Families and roles. Roles, when I say, I was telling about the roles earlier, right? So there might be different roles in the system. I will be showing you the list of roles in the next slide. Family is going to be the grouping of roles. It's like, ABC will be grouped like an English alphabet. So that's how the grouping will be done based on the roles. Route maps. Route maps is nothing but the workflow that will be created in the system. And recruiting, we have this route map only for the job requisition. And core recruiting configurations. I know that this might be a very massive chunk, and we will be going through this in later stages about it. So these are a couple of checklists, or I could say a sequence that you need to follow when you have been doing a recruiting implementation, because this is going to touch a variety of factors on. And here you can see one quick flow or route map that I have created. So where a requisition approval has been done, and it has been moved into job posting and sourcing team to post the job in the company website and identify the particular resource. And the candidate has been submitting the application, and the candidate selection has been done. Okay, this is a perfect fit candidate, and the offer has been done, and then it will be moving to onboarding. Onboarding has been done. He has been successfully signed the offer letter and everything, and now he has to go through a set of document submissions. And then post hire, he has been reviewed with the background checks and all that. And now the data flows into the employee central. Hey, he's an employee. Just make sure he has been tied with all the systems that's been available, like goal setting, performance goal, as you've been seeing earlier. That's a foundation of data, right? So this is how a normal flow when a candidate applies for a position. And next, here we will be seeing in faculty. So, a director, let's take a vice president has identified a position, and requisition is being created in the system like a faculty, and the source candidate, and job search, and the candidate has been applying for the profile, and applicant tracking system is gonna went through it. When you go through the applicant tracking, which is a SAP recruiting system, identify, okay, this candidate has applied for it. And now the interview has been done for this candidate, and the offer letter has been rolled out, and the background check is conducted, and he's moving on to the next phase of onboarding. And when a new application has been done, when you might be looking for, okay, you're providing me a good amount of information how this recruiting process has been going through. Now I may need a little more information about like how the process has been going through. Here you can see that a new application has been submitted, and initial reviews done, review from a candidate level of point. Okay, I'm a new candidate. I'm applying for ABC company now, and this is a new application, and my initial review of application is done, and legal screening is done by the team, and first level of interview is going to be happening. When I move to initial review from the HR, it moves into the business, and then they see like, okay, is there any other laws that's restricting for the candidate to attend this interview, or be part of any NDA that's been signed with the organization. And then moving on to the interview process, and then a second level of interview will be done, and he has been shortlisted for the third level. And then a reference check will be done based upon his reference point of view, based upon his previous job and experience and all that. And an offer will be rolled out, and a background check will be done, making sure he's actually worked in an organization and there is no concern regarding his previous job, or he's not an abscond candidate. And the background check is some cases, background check is required for pharmaceutical industries and some compliance based or government agencies, and that might be not required because they feel like that's not part of their policies and all that, so it can be skipped off. And then finally they moved on to continuing employment, like no onboarding. So if that is going to be like existing employees moved from within the organization, right? So there is no employee onboarding employees. Then onboarding is not required for them. So and ready to hire has been done, and finally he has been hired for that particular position. So here are some of the recruiting roles that I was wishing to show you, that like initiator, recruiter, recruiting coordinator, search committee, department recruiter, budget approver. So these are some of the roles, and I have provided you the description like what operation each will be performing. Initiator is who is the one actually initiating the hiring requirement, and the recruiter is the one who is like a normal HR person, right? So initiator will always be done by a different person who could be managing, like he will be the one who will start coordinating with the candidate from beginning to the end and making sure he's getting an offer letter. Coordinator, he helps to coordinate with the candidate to make sure everything is good from his end, respect to the joining date, attending the interview, scheduling the meetings and all that. So that will be done by the recruiting coordinator. Search committee, for the selection process, they wanted to see like who could be able to interview that particular candidate, right? That's a search committee will be identified for the selection process. Department recruiter, additional recruiters within the department with the levels of responsibility. Like, okay, now the search committee has identified 3 persons, and finally the department head has to approve it, saying like, oh, they might be having some specializations within the HRIT team or HR team, where they will be going one level of interview required. Or they might be seeing like, okay, if this department has sufficient fund or a department level of required and all that. Once everything is done, the budget has to be approved, and approved for budget from once a department head says like everything is good, that will be moving to a department level vice president to get the budget approval, and hiring activities will be completed. And I hope like that provides a lot of value information about recruiting. And I hope like maybe the next sessions we'll be talking deeper about the list of configuration settings that we'll be going through. About like enabling SAP SuccessFactors in provisioning, and how the internal and external looks like, and setting up the role base. Yeah, these are massive chunks. I think when we start jumping it deep into it, we can go into the system and actually look on how the data is going to be represented, and how the information has been so helpful. Sure, and thanks a lot, everyone. And I think this is one of our first session, and hope like it's so helpful for you, and I hope like more session to come in upcoming days. Thank you.